As the announcer finally calls for our hero, Leon feels the weight of disapproving gazes from the families. Even the patriarch joins in this sentiment as Leon steps forward at Sylvia's urging. Despite not expecting anything extraordinary, Leon knows he needs to discover a mana attribute suitable for his body. Following Sylvia's guidance, he places his palm on the stone sword and, to his surprise, a bright golden light emits from it. This light overwhelms his vision, replacing it with a scene of a man facing demonic creatures. Confused and intrigued, Leon watches as the man wields a shining sword, striking down the creatures with ease before snapping back to reality to focus on the task at hand, the stone sword. Looking at the sword, Leon is shocked to see that the emitted light hasn't even reached halfway. Mockery and laughter erupt from the families, taunting Leon for his lackluster performance. Despite the patriarch's silent observation, the commotion draws his attention. His commanding voice brings a halt to the ridicule, and as the families disperse, Glenn, disappointed, contemplates the situation. Suddenly, the hall is once again illuminated by the golden light, catching Glenn's attention. Recognizing the familiar aura, he realizes its significance. It's the signature power of the Zygarde family's first patriarch, capable of overpowering demonic flames. This realization dawns upon him with profound impact. He notices the golden flame-like light emitting from the stone sword to be the golden flame aura. His eyes widen at the shocking sight. At this point, all he could do was stand there in a daze, nothing more and nothing less. Abruptly switching settings, we see our hero grow twofold since the last time we saw him. Once again gazing upon the message window to take a glance at his stats, he reaches out his finger at the screen, wondering if it is time for him to reach the 3-star ring of fire already narrating over the scene. He tells us that 7 years have already passed since the judgment ceremony, and he has now turned 12 years old. He explains that with consistent training, he is now at the doorstep of reaching the 3 fire rings. Moving forward in the present, Leon plans to begin training soon when suddenly Sylvia's voice calls at him and she approaches him to ask why he is not ready for the occasion yet. She asks him to leave quickly before they get late. Leon obediently agrees with his mom and contemplates the fact that the second judgment ceremony has come to face him once again. As we are once again brought back to the judgment ceremony hall, the voice of the announcer commends the last family competitor and calls for the judgment ceremony's end. Leon wonders if it is because it's the judgment ceremony of the indirect bloodlines today that the ceremony has ended earlier than expected. This is also when the patriarch calls for his name, and acknowledging the patriarch, Leon addresses his call. Glenn confronts Leon for not responding to the basic training orders that he has been receiving for the last month. But our hero is confused and dazed at the sudden confrontation. He does not know what the patriarch is talking about. Just then, Sylvia walks in to address the concern. Leon, on the other hand, is taken aback at the fact that his mother knew of this, but not him. Despite Sylvia's desperate attempts, the patriarch coldly denies to entertain any such thoughts. He expresses that if one cannot walk, they must crawl in order to train. The patriarch does not like to play around. He confronts and questions her if she will leave the family once again with the child. She is startled and forced to stand in a daze. As observing his mother's expressions, Leon understands why she gets treated so harshly. It is because she had abandoned the family once before. He explains that Sylvia has had traces of learning martial arts but no mana energy. Leon understands that a member of the direct lineage that has left on her own and came back crawling would be treated poorly. However, he steps up in front of the patriarch, making his emotions of anger clear. Now he is her son, and he cannot watch his mother get treated so harshly. Looks like a confrontation is imminent, but will our hero's grandfather actually show him mercy for standing up to his mother in spirit and determination to protect and shield his guardian? Leon walks up the hall to confront the patriarch while Sylvia desperately calls for him to stop this madness. She yells that she will fix everything. Once again denying his mother's wish, Leon walks up in front of the patriarch and sheds light on the matter. He expresses that, as the patriarch has ordered, he will begin his training next month. Seeing the bravery and determination of our hero, The current Martial Hall Master asks if he was not made aware of this training lease. He expresses that even if he wasn't, he should not pursue the training with his current condition. As he is still sick, he presses that Leon should give it up. The show of bravery does not end here, as Leon is persistent and tells the Martial Hall Master that it is okay, and he wants to live up to the Zycart name. The intense pressure of the Patriarch's aura courses through Leon's body, and he feels the immense force of the Patriarch's ability. He is taken aback and startled, as is apparent by a small spatter of blood that drops on the floor. Leon's eyes widen as he firmly tightens his fist. He concerns and points out that just the Patriarch's glare can do so much, elaborating that the feeling is as if his heart is being crushed by the immense force of the aura. Helen and Sylvia rush to his aid, and they comfort the distressed hero as the Martial Hall Master joins them. Sylvia cannot see her son being pressed on like this, and she immediately hugs him to protect him while screaming for her father to stop. He grits his teeth and flares up in anger. Moving forward at the Patriarchy, he continues to make a point that he will now live as Leon Zycart and will bring back Sylvia to her original position in the family. Yelling at the Patriarch, Leon confronts him as he tells him that he was raised in a separate building of the residence and he does not know how high in the societal ranks the Zycart family is, so he suggests that he would like to learn that through training. Sweat trickles down his face, but his intentions are pure and strong. Breathing heavily and attempting to catch his breath, Leon stands before the Patriarch as he tells him that he will need to have the instructor prepare, accordingly not to disappoint him. Just hearing these words, Leon calmly lets go and slowly falls to the ground, with Sylvia and Helen rushing to his aid. A change of setting now takes us to the training grounds, where swords clank with each other as the children train and spar with each other while an instructor observes their moves. We are then introduced to the intermediate Martial Hall Master, Karen Zycart, who questions the claim that the boy was too weak to even properly move. A nervous messenger reports to the Martial Hall Master as he elaborates that many maids have overheard the conversations between the saint and the Patriarch, and it is definite that the boy is suffering from a serious illness. Karen deepens in thought as he recalls that the boy's body was definitely in bad condition when he saw him earlier today in the judgment ceremony and all the other times he's seen him, but he wonders how the child was able to withstand his father's aura. Concluding his contemplation, he recalls that Sylvia was known to be more talented than anyone else. Following his deep thinking, he calls the messenger to place a maid in their building and to do so as quickly as possible. Chanting the name of the respected Patriarch, the Secretariat guards salute and make way for him as he walks down his path into the annex. A mysterious man with long red hair and pointy ears lies comfortably on a couch, his face hidden by a hat. The Patriarch approaches the man and addresses him as Lemmer, asking him to stop pretending to be asleep and to get up. Lemmer sits up immediately at this call and commends that the Patriarch really is amazing. This is when we are introduced to the brilliant sword Lemmer Dias. He elaborates that the Patriarch is the only one his sleeping techniques don't work on. The Patriarch exclaims that Lemmer has not matured even after 50 years, but Lemmer laughs it off, stating that people don't really change, and besides, he is an elf anyway. Observing the Patriarch's concerned look, he asks if he is here to talk about his grandson too, and he adds that Sylvia had come too. This surprises the Patriarch, and he explains that she asked him to make sure that Leon does not get hurt. Lemmer stands up to face the Patriarch as he elaborates that if he is here to ask him the same, he is wasting his time. Glenn stands firm as he asks Lemmer not to lessen the intensity of the training, stating that he does not want any weaklings. Taken aback, Lemmer gasps and covers his mouth to express the sheer shock that the Patriarch has put him through. Just as the realization dawns upon him, he bursts out in awe and flutters, stating that the Patriarch must love his grandson very much and is projecting that love onto him, which he could not give to Sylvia. Adding on, Glenn asks Lemmer not to go easy and to fail all those who are unworthy so that only the worthy ones can receive his training. Lemmer agrees with this claim and expresses that he will do as he wishes. Concluding their conversation, the patriarch asks for his leave and steps away as Lemmer enthusiastically sees him off. After the patriarch has left, Lemmer dwells and wonders what Leon is like as he stands across his table and thinks of different training regimes. The message window appears once again to showcase our hero's now updated abilities and stats, highlighting that he has now achieved the third Ring of Fire. Our hero is a sight for sore eyes, and we see him once again as he interacts with the message window. He smiles to contemplate his achievement and expresses that the 3-star rings really do feel different, and he adds that the Zygarde's training is infamous for its difficulty. He exclaims that just being a 3-star fire ring is not enough, and he adds that he needs to have a good foundation to be able to build tall buildings and survive. He imagines himself as a commandant in the Zygarde family as he continues to state that he will excel more than anyone else so that all the guys who have mocked him will shut up. And then he empathizes with the heavenly swordsman Dareth Robert, determining that he will not rest easily until he has slain him. However, just then, our hero is snapped back into reality when a voice calls to him. He looks over to find Sylvia, his mom, calling to him and asking why he is still up. She sits across from him on his bed, and upon questioning by Leon about what she is doing up so late, she mentions that since he is going to the training hall tomorrow for training, she wanted to talk to him. Before he leaves, she gazes upon her child and questions, must he really go? She comes clean and reveals that she does not want him to go. She elaborates that Leon does not express when he is hurting, adding in concern that he might get injured or hurt badly. Persistent as she is, she exclaims that she actually wants him to go, but she cannot help the concern as she voices it and asks him to postpone his enrollment to next year. But Sylvia is taken aback when Leon blatantly refuses and denies this request made by his mom, and recalling all the bad and humiliating moments, he elaborates that he cannot stand it when everyone from the direct or indirect bloodlines, or even when the workers from their annex see her, their eyes fill up with disgust. He exclaims that he can't stand it at all. Sylvia is speechless at this digression, but Leon continues to comfort his mother as he elaborates that he believes that she will be treated better if he does well in training. Nevertheless, she smiles and she fidgets and plays with her fingers before she nervously states that she is sure Leon had thought it was strange why they live separately and why people talk badly about them. She recalls her memory to explain that she fell in love with his father, coincidentally when she was on a mission, but it was difficult for her to be with him since he was just a knight. Then she narrates that she shut down her monikers and left the family. She also tells Leon that he actually has a sister named CIA who is 10 years older than him. She recalls and tells that they were living peacefully when Eden's executive ambushed them, and amidst the battle, she expresses that Leon's father was not that powerful, and unfortunately she was pregnant with him at the time, and somberly expressing, she tells that there was nothing they could do against them. However, she adds that his father had hired guards without her knowledge, but she regretfully informs that they arrived at the scene too late because by then his father and sister were already dead. She concludes the story, elaborating that so this is why she came back to the family, not knowing what to do and why the family treats them like sinners. Adding on, she tells him that she really could not say anything against it. Leon thinks about this whole situation and deems his mother selfish. Elaborating, he tells that she threw away her responsibilities in the name of love and came back crawling to be saved. He expresses that he now understands why the family treats her so coldly. However, emotions take over our hero, and he states that she is the one who gave him a new life and showed him affection for the first time, and he makes a point that even if everyone else calls her selfish, to him, she is the only mother he has had in both lives. He addresses his mother and tells her that he will be fine, so he asks her not to worry. Gazing into each other's eyes for a moment, Leon smiles at his mother while he reminds himself that even if everyone else calls her selfish, she is his only mother, and he can always get his revenge after he helps her regain her position in the family. Mumbling turns into slow tears, and slow tears turn into sobbing as Sylvia wails in front of Leon, surprising him. He asks her to stop crying, and this mother-son interaction ends here. Leon sees his mother out of his room as he sighs and expresses that reassuring her was really hard. He then sits on his bed once again as he plans to check the malleability of the Ring of Fire before he can sleep, mentioning that he does not have a lot of time before the training starts. And he sits in a unique stance, performing the technique as blue flames rise and flare up in the room. Viciously, he notices that the rings spin faster now that they are at level 3, but he wonders what it will be like once they get to the intermediate levels. The flame suddenly blazes violently and bursts out into the air in front of our hero. As his eyes widen in shock, the flames speak in a strange voice as it states to have finally come. It rises and rises as our hero glares in anticipation. A giant ball accumulates in front of him as it viciously smiles and elaborates that the time has finally come when his rage has reached him. The blue flame pays his respects to Raph, the second lord of the demon realm, and expresses that he will help Leon's revenge dreams come true. However, Leon is surprised and taken aback as he questions this claim, and a message window pops up telling him that he has unlocked 2 new traits. The rage trait is being activated, but the second one remains unidentified. The blue flame continues to rage and blaze as it presents its offer to our hero, but it is taken aback in shock and stops midway to address the concern. The ball of blue flame questions why there is a child standing before him. Leon steps away to prepare to engage in battle against the mysterious ball of fire that has suddenly appeared in front of him, and he asks what it is. But the ball of fire seems to be just as confused, and it expresses the same concern, elaborating that the rage that reached him was not an emotion that a kid like Leon can feel. Upon a second glance, the ball of blue fire's eyes widen as the realization dawns upon him, and it exclaims that it was definitely the child standing before him. The child has been hiding a deep and dark rage within him. Leon hardens his facial expressions and is skeptical of the ball of fire as it asks him to give away his body and soul to him, and then he will help him get the revenge that he desires. He wonders if the ball of fire is here because of his violent rage against Dareth Robert before he was reborn. But if it is, he expresses that the ball of fire is way too late. Following the skeptical nature and suspicion of the ball of fire, Leon denies his offer and states that he will get his revenge on his own. This confuses the ball, who anticipated an answer. It floats around Leon's body as Leon tells him that he will exact revenge on Dareth himself, thinking that he can't get the help of another in such a matter. But the ball of fire does not seem to buy this claim as it expresses that Leon seems to be misunderstanding something. Smiling widely, the ball rises up once again and states that he is not here to negotiate. The huge ball of fire blazes again, and it viciously glares at our hero to alert him that he has already made his decision. Although the flames catch onto Leon's body, he immediately notices something. The flames are cold. Realizing this could only mean one thing, Leon steps back nervously. The ball of flame flares and rushes forward as it yells that now all Leon needs to do is give him his body. Leon steps away from the threat as the blue ball of fire approaches him. The fire approaches nearer and nearer. There does not seem to be anything that our hero can do, and the flames finally reach Leon's body as a burst of light illuminates the room. Following the strange interaction, he does not seem to be feeling too well as he grabs hold of his chest firmly. His eyes widened in shock, and he expresses that he feels as if his mind is going to freeze over. He wonders if it is the attribute of cold that is causing this strange and uncomfortable feeling. A mysterious and vicious avatar looms over Leon as its heavy voice instigates him to think of the person to bring up the rage, and he will kill him, even if it is a god. Shivering and shaking, Leon rubs his hands over his arms, curling up into a ball as he expresses that he is able to endure the attack somewhat thanks to his water attribute tolerance ability. But he realizes that this attack is not just cold. Adding on, he elaborates that the mysterious entity is consistently stimulating his rage. Awful and torturous moments from his past life constantly replay in his head as he is reminded of the pain he has endured and the days he has spent in torment. The mysterious man hovers near to our hero's ear as he exclaims that he will break the man's skull and eat up on his flesh. And so, Leon resists giving up his body and lets the man take over. Recalling the joyful moments he has spent with the maids and his mother Sylvia, he worries about what will happen to them if he gives up his body to this strange entity that has appeared so suddenly. He grits his teeth in frustration, determined to not let go so easily, and he exclaims that he cannot let him have his body no matter what happened. The blue ball of fire has once again appeared before our hero as it hovers over him and continues to persuade him by saying that it would have been easier for him to give in to his rage and accept the entity, but he is just holding on for no reason at all. He expresses that he was going to minimize the damage since he was going to use his body, but our hero leaves him no choice. It expresses that it will just swallow Leon whole without waiting any further, and it seems like the situation is worsening. It's apparent by the look on Leon's face as he attempts to catch his breath, and he expresses that it feels like his body is going to break into pieces. Holding on to dear life, our hero expresses regret, realizing that he is almost at his limit, and he'll end up dying at this rate if he does nothing at all to survive. But just then, something clicks in Leon's head as his eyes widen and the realization dawns upon him. He grips his hands together and grits his teeth to give it his all, elaborating that if he could endure the cold due to his water tolerance attribute, then he might be able to reduce the pain in his body and mind through the ring of fire. Noticing it to be the only option he has left to survive, our hero musters up all his strength to counter the cold, and his move works as the ring of fire slowly pushes away the cold from Leon, surprising the ball of blue fire. He groans in frustration, seeing a child push away and counter his attack. He expresses that, even if it hasn't been long since he has awakened, a feat like this is impossible. His annoyance is further elevated at the fact that the foe is just a human child. He glares at the ball of fire and warns that he will get revenge on his own without needing to let a ghost use his body. The blue ball of fire is offended by this statement as it rages and blazes violently at our hero. He questions how dare the human child call one of the great demon lords a ghost. Playfully teasing the entity, Leon asks why he hasn't been able to kill him if he is a lord of the demon realm. He continues to tease and taunt the lord as he states that the lord of the demon realm isn't anything special, and he suggests that he just disappears. Infuriated at this insulting interaction, the ball of fire starts growling at Leon. Observing and recalling the demon lord's words, Leon realizes that he is said to have just awakened, which could possibly mean that the ball of a demon lord has yet to restore his full strength. Leon's deepening thoughts over the strange lord of the demon realm are broken off by a message from the system window that notifies him of special abilities that have been unlocked. Gazing upon the message window in curiosity, he finds his stats to be shown in a number format. At this realization, the lord of the demon realm freaks out, yelling that it is his authority, and he questions why the little boy has it. Our hero asks if the blue ball of fire has anything to do with the sudden change in the format of the message window, and although the ball frowns at first, it affirms that he has made the system, and he annoyingly questions why it is with him. Feeding into his curiosity, Leon once again asks what kind of system it is, but the demon lord has no interest in revealing anything to him. But he finds himself immediately taken aback and dazed when Leon answers his own question to express that it might be for quicker progress. The blue ball of fire blazes in rage and confusion as he wonders how the little boy knows. Leon, on the other hand, blatantly glares at the spirit in front of him, concluding that he can't even hide his emotions at all. Contemplating over the mysterious workings of the system, our hero mentions that he too had thought it to be strange that his ring of fire ability was more effective than in his past life, but now he realizes that it was because of the system. Filled with rage and frustration, the spirit of the demon lord flares violently as he demands that the little boy gives up his authority and body to him. But just as he continues to press on our hero, he sees a powerful energy blow coming towards him, and he immediately dodges as the attack flows right through his hollow spiritual form. Enraged even more, he asks what the little boy is doing, and Leon gleefully expresses that he has hit him with mana, just in case. Observing the outcome of the attack, He notices that the spirit of the demon lord does not have a physical body, which would mean that aura won't work on him either. And considering the fact that no one else has come rushing in after the ruckus they have caused, it's apparent that he's probably the only one who can see or hear this spirit. Having enough of the little boy taunting and playing with him, the blue ball of fire is fed up and yells at Leon before flowing directly at his wrists. Leon's eyes widen as he flinches at the sudden hostile movement, but he is taken aback again when the blue ball of fire has now turned into a bracelet with ice crystals for beads, and even in the form of a mirror bracelet. The Lord of the Demon Realm does not shy away from shit-talking. He exclaims that it hasn't been long since his seal has been undone, but his powers will return soon and then no one will be able to stop him. He warns that he will stick with Leon till the day he dies.
Love the manhwa? Subscribe for more. Your support makes it all possible. Hit subscribe now!